recording. So hi everybody, my name is Courtney and this is my bag. I have a lot of goodies in here like stop the stigma and mental health. But the most important thing in my little bag is this bracelet that says never ever give up, which is very applicable to anybody that deals with a brain, which would be all of you. Okay, so my project is on mental health, but finally healing. So let's see where this goes. There isn't a single human on this planet that does not struggle with mental health or mental health issues or illnesses. So if you fall into any of these categories, I suggest you listen up a little bit. Intersectionally, where would somebody even try to begin if every single human has a brain, right? It would be almost like incomprehensible of a task. But I have found some solutions. People that loop in routines, people that don't have any focus on themselves, every single human struggles. So let's see where we could start. As a student and a room full of people, I was completely alone with my doctors and my professionals and the medications and everything else. But it almost felt like nobody could understand me and my disease at all. So let me elaborate on that a little bit. Yes. This is me. I have celiac disease and I've been hospitalized a lot. Celiac disease is the blunting of the small intestine villi, so I wouldn't be able to absorb anything that I eat. Any drink, any food, any medicine would just go straight through me. And all of these experiences had to do with celiac and eating. I had NG tubes and colonoscopies, endoscopies, yada yada. But this one was specifically a mental health issue that I had never seen coming. The vitamins and minerals that you're supposed to ingest into your stomach weren't going back up to my brain, and I was hospitalized for a very long time, and it was a big process for me, and I had to learn a lot very quickly. So this fancy man up here decided to say that celiac has actually a direct correlation to the brain. So if you are eroding your stomach, it's very likely that the nutrition that your stomach would give the rest of your body is eroding your brain, because they work hand in hand. But what does that mean? Where do I go from here? Why am I so individualistic or specific or unique? And I learned through this experience that I'm not. And anybody with a brain could go through some of the same things that I do, which is depression and anxiety. So with the connection between the stomach, straight line, where's an answer? And I spent my project trying to find an answer for this. And I did it in a lot of different ways. What I did was this loop between asking for help, leaning on my peers and support, and going to my doctors and then furthering my education, et cetera, et cetera. This is like a constant loop that I constantly do multiple times a day. And it is imperative for me personally in my success. And that's how I started this. That's how I started implementing and reaching out and contacting people. So this lovely lady is Barbara Wilson. And I met her a long time ago. She specializes in all of these great things. And I attended her event at Stop the Stigma, which is supposed to be an advocacy for mental health, to stand up and say, hey, you got a brain too, so you're just like me, and we can talk about this, right? And that progressed a little further. So from here, we went to the Bridgeport Marketplace. Oh, these are all the pictures of the Stop the Stigma event. There were speakers and presenters, about 10 booths for advocating mental health. And as a team, we were able to give handwritten cards to the elderly and the vets. And it was an outreach, it was successful. We made connections for the first time after COVID in a long time, that people with brains, which is people, matter. And that's where this kind of started too. And it was like getting the ball rolling as to what exactly I was getting myself into, if you will. The next thing that I did was I went deeper. I went deeper into my intersectional community, and I went to the LHS, which is the Little Rock High School. And if you can read these, it says the total minority of LRHS enrollment is 90%, and 78% of those students are economically disadvantaged. Little Rock High School is one of 13 high schools in the Antelope Valley, and the majority of the students don't know that mental health affects them too, or even how to talk about it. So there's clearly an issue from adolescents and high schoolers straight into college, and probably further back. So at this high school, I set up with NAMI as a volunteer, and we were able to get 36 emails in total that I personally was able to outreach to people and say, hey, you matter. How can I help you? How can I assist you? How can I be a peer? How can I support you? What do you need? Because I was in a position where I didn't have that. So I know how important that is. And I thought that was really powerful. These people are Miles, myself, Miles and Jean, and this was our table. It was a really big event. The next slide is Jean. So who is Jean Harris? Jean Harris is the president of NAMI AV, but that's such a superficial title to like who she really is and what she actually does and how much she actually knows and how deep she is in the community. Meeting this woman was the catalyst to my entire project. It required all fulfillments and any research that I needed, any interviews that I needed. The contacts were right there. Everything was good to go. But the most important thing is she taught me about neurofeedback. And let's go to the next slide because it's kind of intense. Oh wait, this is NAMI. So for NAMI, this is all of their information. I do suggest that you take a picture of that because that's a lot, right? That's a lot of information. And the next slide. So to summarize this massive information, NAMI is the National Alliance of Mental Illness. NAMI and Jean Harris, friendly to humans. NAMI's mission is to offer education and coping skills, encouragement and hope, and support for the whole family, which would be the child to the parent, the affected to the non-affected. That's all part of the bigger group of mental health, which is kind of a cool program, right? This is where Jean works, if you ever wanted to visit. What I'm about to say, the government doesn't want you to know. So just be wary. The reason why is neurofeedback eliminates the need for big pharma, which is hellacious in the economic society, if you know about all of those pyramid things. But neurofeedback is, it's going to be the change for the future. It will personally change your brain waves to refigure your issues and your problems to an individualistic base. If that makes sense. The next slide, what is neurofeedback? So this is a really long elaboration, but basically you wear a hat and it reads through an EEG machine, and then you are told where your brain waves lie and then how you need to adjust to have best functioning, fullest functioning of your brain. And the reason why that eliminates the need for most psychiatric medications is because your brain can pretty much do it at full functioning itself if you can wire it properly. These are your brain waves. This is delta, usually when you're sleeping, but a lot of children with autism have this brainwave. So the neurofeedback actually stimulates this to jump up to alpha in a continuous therapeutic sense. It's non-invasive, so it's like wearing a hat. It's not like taking a shot or anything like that. And you just get recorded and your brain is literally retraining itself to thrive instead of to hide, which is really important. The monks that can communicate telepathically, they function way up here at gamma. Whereas as a student, I function there right after class, like at full peak of knowledge and information, and then as soon as I get to my car, that's gone. It's gone. So here we are. These are all the brainwaves, and this is how neurofeedback pretty much works. This is what neurofeedback can assist with, if anybody was interested in. It's like literally anything with the brain, which is crazy, it's important. So that could be from PTSD, PMS, depression, headaches, it could be anxiety, addictions, anything. And it's amazing, that's amazing. Whereas all of these things are paired usually with pharmaceutical medications, which is why nobody wants to talk about it. So this is what it looks like. This is a session, a picture of a session, if you will. There's a machine that's reading the EEG from this client's brain, and then it's being projected onto this screen. The therapist is reading the brainwaves, and then she's going to implement a series of tests to change those brain waves to increase higher functioning. So it's a little complicated, but it works wonders. In about 10 sessions, you will see drastic improvement. So, what's the hiccup? Why can't we save the world? What is this? Why do we have veterans suffering and homelessness and people that are at the Salvation Army starving with mental issues, that are taking all of these pharmaceutical medications that are just constantly in these loops and holes that they can't seem to get out of? So what is the issue, right? Let's see. This is the issue. You have two choices. You can actually heal, or you can take medication. And a lot of people fight right there. So once you decide to make a choice, we can decide to make a difference. These companies specifically have neurofeedback implementations at their clinics, if you were interested. So these are the underdogs that we need to recognize, we need to find, we need to get out there, we need to give all of these people more money somehow to get neurofeedback in the community for the children and the adolescents before they're adults and being our bosses and yelling at us or whatever the issue is. So I think it's incredibly important. But to further note, there is little dip in neurofeedback, and the dip would be the new technology of the EEG machines and training could be expensive, could be. If we get the training properly done by somebody else, there's ways around it. The training professionals don't know about this. As a licensed behavioral therapist, I had no idea neurofeedback even existed because Big Pharma hides it. They don't want anybody to know about this. Therapy would be weekly or bi-weekly, but the sessions aren't covered by insurance. So it would be out of pocket, which could be distasteful to some. And then neurofeedback could take you off of your prescription medications because of how intensely it actually changes your brain. And then lastly, neurofeedback will heal you from the inside, which is the first notion I have ever heard of something like that. Not even my disease for celiac has that, and I take a lot of medicine for my tummy. And that seems to be amazing for me, personally. So, calling all humans, we need humans. We have a solution. I have a solution, guys. Like, this is the coolest thing ever. And we need people. Every type of individual, whoever you are, whatever you're struggling with, neurofeedback could assist you. And there's places in our intersectional community today that have this available, which is outstanding.